Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome to the Gospel Truth Channel, and I'm very somber about this broadcast. It's one that I'll be frank with you, I did not want to do. Hello, Scotty Roberts. Nice to see you, brother. Always a pleasure to see you. I wish I could have got up there and seen you in North Carolina, but it just didn't work out for me. We'll make it happen again soon. But I didn't want to bring this to you. I didn't want to talk about this. But I mean, I've had such a crazy life. Scotty, love you, brother. I've had such a crazy life. 6 years in the United States Air Force, traveled to 5 continents, 20 years as a preacher. And now, meeting crazy people. I've met 5 or 6 presidents. It's just a really, really oddly wonderful life. Preshni, nice to see you. A really oddly wonderful life that I've had. And it's led me down so many crazy things. I lived in Las Vegas for 5 years, have deep connections to a lot of people within law enforcement there and within federal law enforcement. And I really don't want, hey, Rocker Chick, I really appreciate your nice message. I appreciate you so very much. And it's hard to have to talk about this. I'd rather just talk about the scriptures. I'd rather just talk about parabiblical information. I'd rather just talk about good news and finding the Christ and being your own guru, guiding your own spirit, mastering your own ascension. But part of it is to do this hard work. And I've got what I think is breaking news on the Stephen Paddock situation. And I didn't want to bring it out. I talked to you about that earlier. I didn't want to bring it out. I reconfirmed it. I talked to some of my sources in Las Vegas, talked to some of my sources with actual inside sources in Las Vegas, law enforcement, Las Vegas casino industry. And I'm being told that this information is valid, this information is accurate, this information is true. And it gets back to, hey, Tothmark, it gets back to the real spiritual aspect of what happened. I know Rex live, and I hate to go live when Rex is live, but I got to get this off my chest. And the beauty of it is that this is always available on the replay. So, and I want to show you something that I did months ago, and I don't even remember when I did it, but we're going to take a look at it right now. And, it's a sorry dog that won't wag its own tail every now and then. And I just want to show you that I didn't just think about this yesterday, and it's not something I just did to take advantage of a horrible situation. But this is my website here. We'll move this off so we can actually see it. This is my website. And look at that. It comes right up. If you click on that, sorry, the product is not found. Isn't that just the way? The product is currently available. I don't know what it's talking about. But isn't that something? Maybe, yeah, maybe there are gremlins involved. Let's try this again, because the product is certainly available. Shop, products, and let's go to the books. I just want to show you that this is something I've been thinking about for a while. Here's the book, Eat the Pain, Spirit Cooking in the Eucharist and Communion, $1.99. Ripped from today's headlines, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, exposes the shocking connections between spirit cooking, the Eucharist, communion, and the dark world of ritual blood magic and pedophilia. Let's see if we can find out when Christian whistleblower Jeffrey Daugherty started doing all this stuff, so we can see that it's not just a Johnny-come-lately. So let's do this. Let's go to YouTube, and let's do Jeffrey Daugherty, Spirit Cooking. And let's see when I started talking about this. Okay, here's the videos. There's a whole bunch of them. Where's the first one? 10 months ago, 10 months ago, 10 months ago. Well, let's say this is the first one. Let's look at it. Look, Jeffrey Daugherty's live right now with Stephen Paddock's Paradise Ranch. I don't think we need to hear this, but I just wanted to show you, look at, here it is, Spirit Cooking, When was this launched? December 16th, 2016. Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Wow. He never met a Twinkie he didn't like. Oh, that's some chubby cheeks right there, isn't it? That's a chubby checker right there. Oh, good gracious. Woo, man. Let's get that guy off the screen as fast as possible. But the point is, this is December of 2016, okay? December of 2016. I was talking about this, and I was linking it to blood magic and pedophilia. And this is the whole thing that Podesta was hooked up with. This was the whole thing. This was really the beginning of it all. So this isn't something that I just decided to talk about because Las Vegas, the new Jeff is an ass. Well, isn't that great? Isn't that great? You know, you can always find out how well you're doing by how many, what do they call them? Trolls that you have. So there you go. That's very interesting. Somebody help a brother out when those people pop in. Okie dokie. So this isn't something that I just started thinking about. The new Jeff is a beast of burden. I didn't realize that I was that bad, that big. Whoo! But I'm really doing a lot of work, and it's paying off. So, wow. But anyway, we were talking about this a long, long time ago, and now I've lost my reference, but we're going to get back to it. I want to talk to this about you. I want to talk to you about this. I want to show you this, and I do so, with a heavy heart, and I do so knowing that it's not exactly fun stuff to talk about, but feeling a responsibility that I have to do it, and knowing that I have checked it out and vetted it from law enforcement, from people with inside the entertainment casino industry in Las Vegas. So I'm going to share this with you, and we're going to talk about it. And it gets to the key and the core of what's going on with this entire situation here. And I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so we can see it. This source, I've checked it and checked it. It's one of the very best independent media sources as far as stuff they are reporting. There's no doubt about that. And the information they're reporting is actually information that was given to some of my sources. And of course, I'm not going to name them before any of this brought out. So Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock ran CIA child trafficking ring. Now, if you're talking about pedophilia, you're talking about spirit cooking, you're talking about blood magic, you're talking about sacrifice, the story as it stands that we're being fed doesn't make sense. If this is true, it makes perfect sense. I'm offering this as consideration. I'm offering this as an explanation of a story that doesn't make sense with one that does. Alleged Las Vegas shooter ran a drug running and child trafficking company, making millions of dollars in the process, according to explosive new evidence that threatens to disrupt the official narrative and prove law enforcement and mainstream media are colluding to misinform the public about the Las Vegas attack. Now, let me say something about that. I have a lot of connections. I have connections I know people within local Las Vegas law enforcement. And there's good and bad people everywhere, but to my understanding and in my experience, the law enforcement professionals in Las Vegas are good people. They're dedicated people. And all you have to do is watch the sheriff for about 5 minutes to know that he's really unhappy with what he's being trotted out to say. So if local law enforcement is colluding, when you're if you've not been in the military, it's hard to understand this. But the police is a paramilitary organization, and everything is about the chain of command. And the way things work within a chain of command is you swear an oath to, in the military's case, to obey the orders of the commander-in-chief and to obey the orders of the officers and the non-commissioned officers that are appointed above you. It's the same thing within the police department. It is a code of honor. It is a code of ethics, and it is a time-honored and it has to work that way, because if you're in the midst of an operation, whether it be military or law enforcement, you don't have time to debate orders. If an order is given, acting on that order immediately and with full intent and purpose can be the difference between not only your life and death, but the life and death of many of your fellow soldiers, fellow airmen, fellow Marines, fellow Coast Guardsmen, or fellow naval personnel, or your fellow law enforcement personnel. So yes, you can say who would give in to such a thing, who would pledge an oath to this, but it works within the military. In the military, remember, the job of the military is to kill people and break things. Unfortunately, that's true. And the job of the law enforcement is to keep people from killing people and breaking things. But they both have a command structure that is in place to make sure that things operate as they're supposed to. So it's very, very difficult for this sheriff to speak his mind when his chain of command is telling him what he's supposed to say, because he's sworn to it. He has taken an oath. He has his honor, and it's a time-honored tradition, and it's worked up until now. So don't blame the local law enforcement, because the blame goes further up the chain. Trust me on that. Stephen Paddock worked for the government contractor Morton Thricall from 85 to 88, a predecessor company of Lockheed Martin. After he retired in 88, he continued earning millions. After he retired in 88, he continued earning millions. After he retired in 88, he continued earning millions. The story is that he earned millions playing video poker. Let me tell you something, folks. I lived in Vegas for 6 years. And I was thinking about doing this. I was thinking about learning to play blackjack for a living. You can also play video poker for a living. You can, and people do it. But you have to play for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you have to consistently make the same bets, and there's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys. But at the end of a year, if you play 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, if you bet according to the tables and the probabilities, you can make from 75 to 100,000 a year. If you treat it like a job, if you work the plan the way it's supposed to be, you can make 75 to 100 grand playing video poker. You are never, ever, ever going to make millions of dollars playing video poker. It is impossible. Like this story says, it's an impossible fairy tale. And let me give you a little Las Vegas history. This will help you. And if you're scoffing at me, that's okay. I hope my moderators are doing a good job, and I really appreciate them. But if you're scoffing, let me share something with you. Did you know that the only thing that really makes a lot of money in a casino are the table games? In fact, I'm talking about blackjack, poker, roulette, craps, the table games. That's what makes the money. And originally in Las Vegas, that's all there was. There were no slot machines. There were no video poker machines. They didn't exist. And this is not sexist. This is history. The only reason that slot machines were brought into Vegas initially was so that the ladies would have something to do while the men gambled. It was considered unladylike to go into the casino. And men didn't want the ladies in there for obvious reasons of things you do in Las Vegas. So ladies were put off somewhere else to work on the slot machines. And the casinos all have slot machines, they all have video poker, but all of those video machines are there to do one thing. Well, two things really. Number one, they're there to bring people into the bigger games. You start playing some video poker, you start thinking you're good at it, you're going to want to go sit down with the big boys and the big girls and play at the big table. If you're playing video craps, if you're playing video blackjack, if you're playing video roulette, it's all designed to funnel you into the bigger games and the table games. That's number one. And number two, there's just some people that are never going to sit down and play a higher stakes game, and they're going to get some money from those people that would never spend money any other way. But the money's made at the big tables. So this myth, this idea that Paddock earned millions of dollars playing video poker, just completely stupid. And I know you don't like it when I use that word, so I try to use it as often as I can. It's a stupid scenario, and people that have never been to Las Vegas or never understood the gambling industry don't get it. Everybody that's been there, lived there, understands the industry, knows that it is, as this writer says, an impossible fairy tale. Nobody earns millions playing video poker. Now, this is a great key right here. If a professional gambler managed to beat the system and profit regularly from playing video poker, they would be banned from the casino. That is so true. I've seen it happen. And not just video poker. If you start working a system, and I'm not even talking about counting cards. Well, you're counting cards, but you're doing it in a very highly elegant way that doesn't lend itself to detection. And if you start winning too much, guess what? The casinos will invite you not to come back. If you start winning too much, the casinos will invite you to not come back. Well, what about the people that they give comps to and rooms and food and trips? Do you know why they're giving those people the comps, the rooms, the food, the trips? Because those people always come to town and they always lose more than they win. Over a lifetime, even the whales, the ones that have their private concierge, the one that is in the Players Club, the ones that gets picked up by the limo over at McCarran, that's the airport in Vegas, the ones that get the presidential suite, the ones that get, not the presidential, but the ones that get the big suites and all the free stuff, it's because they lose lots and lots and lots of money in Las Vegas. That's why it's called Mandalay Bay and not Darty Bay. That's why it's called Harrah's and not Roberts Casino, because you always lose. And if you always win, they ban you. And sometimes if you get banned at one casino, you can go play at another casino for a while, but the video surveillance is so strong, and that is such an inbred industry that it's very hard to be able to continue to play if you're being able to win consistently, because they know the numbers. These guys are numbers people. And it is impossible without a system to win consistently at casino gambling. That's why they have casino gambling. It's a money machine for the people that own the machines and the tables. So if you're winning on a consistent basis, you will be banned, and it's impossible to win enough at video poker to make millions of dollars. It's impossible to win enough at any of the games in a casino to make millions of dollars over a period of years, like this guy supposedly retiring in 1988. It's 2017, folks. 88, 98, 08. So he's been playing for 30 years in Vegas, making millions of dollars. And they haven't banned him. And in fact, they welcome him with open arms, pardon the pun, and thousands of dollars in comps. Folks, that is a story out of Mother Goose. That is a grim fairy tale. It's not reality. I know it's not reality. I've been there. I've lived there. I've worked in the industry. And it's ludicrous. And there's people a lot smarter than me and a lot more connected than me in the industry that I know and still talk to. And they've told me the same thing. Jeff, you have to be stupid to believe this narrative. So, dude retires in 88, keeps earning millions of dollars every year. Follow the money, ladies and gentlemen. Where did the millions of dollars come from? How was Stephen Paddock retired making millions and millions and millions of dollars? It seems to be that he was a fairly successful real estate flipper, but not enough to account for the millions and millions of dollars that he was able to maintain for 30 years. Now, consider this, my friends. Just consider this. We're giving you information that you can think about and you can draw your own conclusions. He owned 2 airplanes. He had a pilot license. And even though the mainstream media is not going to tell you about this, he also owned a company called Paradise Ranch, which was a joint venture with the Philippine Children's Fund of America, a charity that provides a transitional home for children we fly from the Philippines. I've vetted this as much as possible. I think this is him. I can't guarantee this is him. Corporate Wiki, Stephen Paddock, manager for Paradise Ranch 21 LLC. Paradise Ranch started in 2004, active status as a manager. Here's the corporate addresses. Stephen Paddock apparently was, as the story tells us, an owner of this Paradise Ranch LLC, an entity that did what? An entity that brought children in from the Philippines and gave them a transitional home from the Philippines. So basically, they were warehousing children, is what it says. Warehousing children. It is verifiable. It is provable. Now, strangely enough, Paradise Ranch is in the Philippines. Remember where Stephen Paddock's partner was from? The Philippines. And Paradise Ranch in the Philippines is right next to the former Clark Air Base, where I've been several times, and a well-known international hub of the darkest trade in the world, child sex trafficking. You decide, did Paddock make his millions playing video poker, which is impossible, or was he more likely involved in human sex trafficking out of the Philippines? Was he more likely involved as a CIA pilot? Was he more likely involved? Ladies and gentlemen, the man brought 23 guns up into a suite in Mandalay Bay. 23 guns. Even if you were a madman that was getting ready to kill a bunch of people, there's no way you can use 23 guns. And from all accounts, we knew one thing this guy was stupid. If you bring in 23 guns, that's about the best way that you can get caught. How could I screw this up? Let me think. I need 2, maybe 3 guns at most. So I think I'll bring 23. You know, I go to conferences. I speak at conferences. And if I bring 23 of anything with me, you know why I bring 23 books? Why would I bring 23 books? Scotty Roberts knows the answer to this. I went to his conference. I brought 23 books, more than that. Why would I bring 23 sets of divining rods? Because I'm selling them. And if I'm a guy that's delivering children from the Philippines to the United States, do you think it's possible that I might pick up, I don't know, some guns, maybe some drugs? Because obviously, if I'll involve myself in child trafficking, purportedly, allegedly, possibly, I'm not going to have a conscience that precludes me doing a little gun dealing or a little dope dealing. Did he make his millions playing video poker, which is impossible? Or did he make his money running guns? He was at Mandalay Bay selling guns, period. Was it his first time to ever sell guns? And he just happened to buy 23 guns and just happened to find some guy on Craigslist. He put out an ad on Craigslist. Hey, want to buy some guns? Meet me at Mandalay Bay and I'll sell them to you. You got to be stupid to believe that. And is it just a coincidence that he's involved in Paradise Ranch that brings in kids from the Philippines? And is it just a coincidence that the guns are there, the child pedophilia connection, the blood sacrifice, blood magic connection that I was talking about in December of 2016. Oh, Jeff is just talking about this because it's big and he wants to get subscribers. 2016, Jeff started talking about this, and it was out of context then. Why is he bringing this up? Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know it then, but it was a prophetic utterance. Watch out for blood sacrifice. Watch out for dark magic. Watch out for child sacrifice. And I tied it all back to the church because it's the God of the church that behind the scenes runs all this. That book's available, $1.99, Spirit Cooking, on my website. But don't worry, folks, there's nothing to see here. Mainstream media doesn't think it's worth reporting. It's just a big coincidence. Let's face the facts. We're not being told the truth about this fellow. He knew too much. He was an insider. He was a liability. He was set up to take the fall. He was a patsy. And as long as mainstream media continues colluding in order to protect key players, survivors and families of the deceased, and make no mistake, there were people killed in the Las Vegas in this terrible tragedy. And until we decide that we're not going to believe the garbage, and until we decide to demand the truth, we're not going to know what happened on that sad day. This was written by Baxter Dimitri. He covers politics, business, and entertainment for YourNewsWire.com. He's traveled to over 80 countries. And there you go. That's his story. And I believe he's sticking to it. So that's all I've got to say about that. Let's go into the chat room and see what folks have to say. I understand if you don't like to hear about the chat. We thank you for being our guest, and we hope that you'll come back again. A lot of people do like to be involved in the chat. They like a host that actually talk to them and actually look at what they see and look at what they say and talk about it. And there's actually many great and exciting things that come out of the chat room that add to the channel. So we invite you to stay as we talk to the guests and answer questions. But if you can't, we understand. We thank you for joining, and we hope that you'll join again. So let's take a look and see what's going on. I might have to bonsai. The walking tree is starting to be a little bit of a bugger. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's go ahead and look and see what people have to say about this. Thank you for ordering the book yesterday. Long-haired hippie people need not apply. So I pushed my hair up under my hat, went in to ask them why. I don't know why I sing, can't sing, but anyway, there you go. Shorter hair looks nice, thank you. New listener, Deb Johnson, glad to hear it. I can't believe I missed the book thing. I'm so mad, not sure what to say about this, but this stuff is a few years old. Of course it is. That's the point. This is real important. I don't even know how to say what I was going to say without getting attacked. I never seen Comet Ping Pong and Pizzagate, pedophilia, Hollywood. Didn't catch the title of the article. Sure like to know where the magic machine is. Conspiracy of silence. I worked, rocker chick, you're too smart to gamble. Good for you. I don't think they even do that at the Niagara Falls Casino. Probably an arms dealer as well. I agree with that. Gun deal gone south. Podesta the molesta, absolutely. Many people think the NFL is rigged. Podesta's son is involved, and a relation of Podesta is involved in the investigation. I don't know if it's his son. I go every now and then to play. Happy to cover my bar tab. It's entertainment, not a lifestyle. I understand that. Corey Feldman is going to get his due, I think. Yeah, it's not the rent he was collecting, that's for sure. Just like his cousin is head of the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Amy, John, I don't doubt you. I just have not seen the documentation on that. So I welcome people to look that up and vet it if it's true. But if it's true, very, very good find. Good for you. What a nasty dude. Pedophile transportation. Sex slave trade is not a joke. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it very much. Very, 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 very much. Where's that they were shoveling money to? Sex trafficking, gun running, money laundering. And that's one we didn't even talk about, because do you know that a casino is the best place in the world, and really the only place in the world left that you can efficiently run money or launder money? Here's what happens. You walk into any casino and say, give me $10,000 worth of chips. They don't ask you, where'd you get it? They don't. Well, you actually up to, I think it has to be less than 10,000. So give me $9,999 worth of chips. They're just going to give you $9,999 worth of chips. And guess what? You can go have a smoke, have a drink, do what you want, come back up to another window, turn in your $9,999 worth of chips. And guess what? They'll give you $9,999 back. And guess what? That is clean money, honey, laundered, perfectly pressed, peeled, folded, bam. The things you learn from living in Las Vegas. Sounds like a gun deal gone bad. I agree with you completely, Scotty Roberts. There's a lot of young, disappointed girls that come to Vegas wanting to be a showgirl or a cocktail waitress, get lost in the shuffle. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Big question, why is there no video footage of his bringing this all in? Because it had to obviously be an inside job. And you got to understand, all of this is run by the federal government and overseen by the federal government. So it's got to be an inside job that involves federal governmental forces. Sex trafficking, bad stuff. William S. Burroughs, good call, Scotty. Look that up if you wonder what Scotty's talking about. Spirit Wind Radio has been yapping about it for 50 years. Gun dealing is what you do on the dirt highway getting to Vegas. I've heard that. I don't know if that's an old Vegas story or if it's true, but that's what they say. That's, what they say. But again, we're not going to say thank you, Michelle K, so very much. What does this say? Sorry, I don't want to miss any of these questions. Dumbed down sheeple. According to Levetts, I've been going over since watching Wayne Steiger. You're entitled to your opinion. Scotty Roberts, Jeff, if you were a responsible host, you would actually personally answer those 3,000 emails you get every day. It's not 3,000. It's 700, 800, 1,000 or so. And Scotty's obviously being in jest, speaking in jest. Michelle K, thank you so much. Scotty Roberts is too smart to gamble, not too dumb to gamble. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting comments. I thank you about it. Anything that wasn't born in darkness. Unicus interviews a much watched. Thank you. I really like that interview as well. You have to prove you played before cashing out. Okay, well, well, right, Marion. It sounds like she's in the industry. You have to prove you played, but I mean, how much do you have to play? You don't have to play a lot of it out. You can still, the point was that you can still launder vast amounts of money through the casinos, and it is what it is. Thank you, Marion, for pointing that out. Marion, who is obviously in the industry, says not anymore. You have to prove where you played before you can cash out. Oh, they're now under federal law, Title 31. So, of course, if you get $9,999 worth of chips, play a few of them out, then come back and turn it in. It's still a great, great way to launder money. No doubt about it. I didn't want to bring that to you, but it seems to make sense. It's tied in with the most horrible of dark practices, which fuels it. And folks, if you read that book, I make a clear and compelling connection from blood magic and pedophilia right back to Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism. Blood sacrifice, check. Human sacrifice, check. Pedophilia, check. Read the news lately about the Catholic Church? It's all there. It's all there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, learn to look behind the headlines, learn to look behind the natural, learn to look to the supernatural and understand what's going on and understand who we're truly fighting. This all goes back to the oldest, darkest game in the book, blood magic, pedophilia, human sacrifice, and dark blood worship. I wish I could bring you better news, but that's the news, folks. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. And that's the true insight behind the scenes inside the investigation of the Harvest Massacre on Route 91. I just wanted to call your attention to the fact that it is a dark spiritual act, and the answers lie in combating the dark spiritual forces that drive these events. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. I do believe that you are here seeking after truth, and I salute you for that. Bob Larson is an ignorant, silly, crazy, shill hoaxer. And I definitely have some strong opinions on that. But I do salute you for seeking after truth. I don't know if I'll be back again later today or not, but we'll certainly be back tomorrow with more cutting-edge information. We understand that not everyone shares our opinions, but we're not here to create opinions. We're here to give information that you can use to create your own opinions. As Scotty Roberts wrote for the jacket of my first book, have the guts to look beyond your religion and see what its foundation is made of. I'm your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower, harmless little fuzzball, Jeffrey Daugherty, encouraging you to unindoctrinate yourself, be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. Folks, the world, has it gone crazy or have you? Scotty Roberts says, Bob Larson. Exactly. We're here to help you answer that question. Once you do, get back with me. We'll go from there. Folks, be excellent to each other. And above all else, thank you, Scotty. Be fearless and stay fearless, my friends.